What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman. Now, we are just a week away from the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and in fact, this time next week, we'll probably be breaking down Easter eggs in the final trailer or the weekly trailer that they put out if they do the same thing they did for WandaVision. But in the meantime, we have a brand new anonymous 4chan plot leak, speculation or rumor, whatever you want to call it, and way too early for the movie now in development that we heard about last week, the Mutants over at Marvel Studios, which will lead to the X-Men. We're going to break down the entirety of the leak. I have it for you here. I'll overlay the text. We're going to break it down, contextualize it where we can, and of course discuss the details there within and how they line up with what we already know is coming in Marvel Phase 4. I'll of course issue the normal spoiler warning. We're going to break down everything for these rumors and leaks regarding the Mutants, the new X-Men movie in the MCU. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button, we're still giving away a PlayStation 5 at 800,000 subscribers, which we should hit within the week, as well as Disney Plus subscriptions every Friday while the shows are live. If you want to be entered to win, all you have to do, hit the subscribe button, then leave a comment down below, and if you want, stick around to the end of the video. We'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. So first up, the normal spoiler warning, as many of you have become accustomed to over the last month here at the channel. Remember to take anything that doesn't come directly from Marvel Studios or Kevin Feige, or if this week is any example, James Gunn, with a grain of salt. But in the past, especially during WandaVision, some of those leaks were 100% accurate. So in that case, and if this is in any way going to ruin Marvel Phase 4 or 5 for you, only you know if you're susceptible to this kind of thing, you might want to back out now. Also, some of these originally show up on 4chan and then are later sourced to Reddit. You might not want to go to 4chan. That site is not always safe. I actually have today's text to overlay for you, but in the case that I don't in the future, just wait a couple of days for it to get sourced to Reddit. Far safer site, and they normally do. Anyways, you've had your warning. If you'd like to back out now, now's the chance. Otherwise, we're going to dive right in. This leak was posted with information alongside Doctor Strange 2 and Fantastic Four as well, which we'll get to later in the week. Right now, we're just going to cover the Mutants segment of this. It starts by saying early information about what is being discussed for the film. Nothing is finalized yet. The film will be directly connected to the Eternals, which, seeing as that's going to set a lot of the basis and go back as far into ancient times on the Earth in the MCU as possible, I would hope that they would lay the groundwork or at least discuss the X gene. It seems like the perfect opportunity to do so. The project is initially focused on the story of Moira McTaggart and her ability to live through the ages, and the story of Charles Xavier until they both meet in their youth in the 1990s. Moira will have several lives, and in them she will find out about few people like her. In the current one, where she is a scientist, she realizes about the X gene. Charles Xavier will apparently have a journey from elitist teenager to human rights activist when he meets Moira, understands himself as a mutant, recruits some through reports, and builds the Xavier Institute to house those who have been rejected by their family. Kevin Feige demands that the film address social issues about minorities and the evolution of humanity. It will be revealed that there were mutants before Iron Man, and many had the courage to assume their powers after Tony Stark revealed himself in 2008, but secret organizations captured these people. Now, we can speculate all we want about what secret organizations these are, and in fact, we may even start seeing some Weapon X or Weapon Plus Easter eggs in the Falcon in the Winter Soldier, but as I've made mention in a couple of videos up till now, I think WandaVision is pretty much a statement on the MO of Marvel Studios. The writing on both WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, as well as Loki and some of these early Marvel Phase 4 projects, was completed over a year and a half ago. I don't think we're going to start to see the kind of Easter eggs that people want. No, Wolverine won't be popping his claws out during Falcon in the Winter Soldier. We're going to get subtle nods to these organizations, although it wouldn't surprise me at all if the Eternals does go a long way in addressing some of these things, and eventually we're going to get an explainer about the X gene. As I said in my last video, I wouldn't be surprised if when they all figure it out, maybe in this movie right here, someone discusses it and explains it at length, so that us, the audience, can go ahead and put this conversation to rest about the details for that. I think they basically started to touch on that during WandaVision, but really didn't enumerate it all the way. I think it's going to be some time before they do that. The leak goes on to say that the film will take place through the years until it reaches the present day. After the events of Endgame, much of humanity began to hate heroes and people with powers, and an outbreak of mutants appearing frightens humans. There will be no mention of the name X-Men in the film, but but Kevin Feige demands that the first lineup for Combat be based on the First Class comics. Not the First Class movie, the First Class comics, which we're going to get to in a minute. I'll explain what lineup that is and who Moira McTaggart is if that name isn't familiar to you. Kevin wants the social clash to be the focus, so the first antagonists considered are the Brotherhood of Mutants, where there will be questions about assuming their identity to the Wood or not, and the film ends with humanity aware of the existence of evolution to Homo superior. From Homo sapien to Homo superior, which should be mutants at this point. Name being considered so far for the casts are Jacob, and I don't actually want to read this last part because I don't believe anything that's said about future casting. I'm literally going to stop covering that completely here at the channel. Those casting reports, unless they come from one of the higher up Hollywood trades like Hollywood Reporter or Deadline, I've basically stopped covering them in their entirety. And as you guys have figured out by now, the new Marvel MO for casted actors is to completely and vehemently deny. See, Tatiana Maslany, after she was cast as She-Hulk, issued the most definitive statement. It was so well thought out. It was such a good lie. There were like a paragraph worth of lies qualifying why that just wasn't true, when indeed it was, and she was announced as She-Hulk literally less than a month later. So we're going to skip that, and then it says that the Mutants won't be the official name. I didn't think it would. Usually early on when a production name or something like a working title is assigned to a project, it doesn't really hold over until you write the script. The script and the director usually inform the title. Clearly those haven't been done yet. Now, as far as early pre-production on a film like this, ideas and main thematics, it's kind of cringeworthy to me sometimes when someone who's writing something like this uses Kevin Feige's name and then says things like Kevin demands and Kevin wants. What, did you leave a direct meeting with him in his office and then run to 4chan to post that? But we have heard in the past from industry insider and friend of the channel, Mikey Sutton, some of these exact details over a year ago regarding the first X-Men and Mutants film. I'm sure it has been discussed at length, considering the interconnectedness of Marvel Phase 4 and Phase 5. I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility, knowing how things sort of go down over there. If general thematics and narrative themes are starting to get understood, disseminated, and basically embraced as people start working on these projects, especially if the Eternals is going to tie directly to the X gene and evolution to mutants in the future of the MCU, you would assume that some of those details have already been known to be public knowledge, as well as the fact that when Mikey Sutton weighed in on the original lineup for the X-Men over a year ago, it lined up with that First Class, which we're about to get to. Now, quick side note, if you're not familiar with Moira McTaggart, she first appeared in Uncanny X-Men number 96, that's December of 1975, and was created by writer Chris Claremont and artist Dave Crockham. She works as a geneticist and is an expert in mutant affairs. She is most commonly in association with the X-Men and has been a member of the Muir Island X-Men team and Excalibur. You may remember that Olivia Williams played Dr. Moira McTaggart in the 2006 feature film X-Men Last Stand. Now again, and over a year ago, I'll try to find the video and link it at the end of this. We may have to just make another video on this. Friend of the channel and industry insider Mikey Sutton, this is the guy who nailed Black Panther and Spider-Man originally appearing in Civil War, put forward a future sort of idea what the X-Men and Mutants might look like in the MCU and who would and could be on the lineup. That First Class lineup actually matches pretty well X-Men First Class Volume 1, having Marvel Girl Jean Grey, Cyclops, Scott Summers, Bobby Drake Iceman, and Hank McCoy Beast alongside Professor Charles Xavier. This is a lineup that is classic to the X-Men. This is a lineup that has characters that we want to see and identify with. It doesn't jump to Gambit, Rogue, or Wolverine right off the bat, but rather the classic X-Men, the love story between Jean Grey and Cyclops, Bobby Drake being, of course, one of the first X-Men, Hank McCoy as rather Hank McCoy, not the blue furry version that we later see him as still the Beast. This is a great lineup, an awesome lineup, a classic lineup, and I definitely think that more than one of these characters is going to make that initial lineup. Now, whether they jump to other characters like Storm and Wolverine rather quickly, different iterations of the X-Men that we came to know later in the 90s, that can happen rather quickly. And I expect that they're going to explore characters like Wolverine in their own films before they sort of cross back over into joining this team in characters. I, for one, get super excited at stuff like this. This entire leak could be fan fiction written by somebody who just has grandiose ideas. And yeah, it might have lined up exactly with what industry insider Mikey Sutton had said last year. These could all just be working ideas, and maybe down the road, some of this ends up getting changed, canned, or doesn't look anything like this. However, that the idea that the mutants will soon be introduced into the MCU, and well, the fact that the Eternals is technically right around the corner, and we're going to get to see if they address that in any way. These are super exciting times to be Marvel fans, especially as it pertains to the MCU. Guys, let me know all your thoughts down below. First question, who do you want to see on the first X-Men team? Second question, are you with the fact that they would actually take time to build out Professor X and then introduce the Xavier Institute, start very slow with this, and get maybe a different story than we've seen in the comics before? And how ready are you to completely can the Fox X-Men verse and never watch it again? Thoughts, questions, comments, concerns, leave them down below, and quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. We're still giving away a PlayStation 5 at 800,000 subscribers, which we are about to ding literally any day now. We're also giving away subscriptions to Disney Plus every Friday while the shows are live. If you want to be entered to win in for any of the future prizes, all the same rules will always apply. Hit the subscribe button because you need to be a subscriber, then leave a comment down below. Because it's truly random, the more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will be selected and announced at the end of videos, the same way we're doing here. The best way to keep up with the content is to hit the notification bell with notifications turned on, and as always, if you enjoyed today's video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. My name is Michael Roman. You can find me over on Twitter and Instagram at IamFires. You can find me on Spotify and all other musical platforms, including YouTube, under the name All Fires. Thanks so much for checking out the channel, guys, and stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.